Here in the shed at the house today, I'm going to show a few things which I've been sowing over the Christmas and New Year period. Some brassicas, some field beans as well, which I didn't realise were going to come up with the allotment, so I thought I was going to need some replacements. Bit of an experiment with a bag of shallots which we had over Christmas. Also planted some onions on Boxing Day, which haven't shown up yet, so hoping they might have decided to germinate. Some leeks and a few odds and ends as well, which I've done inside the house, but in the way of chillies, peppers, aubergines, that kind of thing, by way of a heated propagator, just to kind of show how you can set up a relatively small spot in the house to get some warm weather crops started and get them ready for planting out and pricking on. So this is the setup I've got indoors for my propagator. It's a large, I think it's a Sankey propagator, which I've got a grow light above, probably just about doing enough to provide a bit more additional light to help the seedlings. And underneath the propagator we have a growing heat mat, which is providing the bottom heat for the seeds. We've got some red pepper Marconi, which are just about popping up nicely now. We've got pepper California Wonder and a pepper Corona de Toro Red, which I think is like a long one. Now in here are the chilies. I thought I'd swap out the cell trays for these jiffy pots, which might help a little bit with potting on and pricking out and things. So on here we've got some aubergines, Black Beauty, Listada de Gandia. Then we've got some more we've got chilies, Habanero Tobago, a chilli which I saved here from a friend who gave us a plant a year ago. I had saved the seed from that one, so we'll see if we get any coming up on that one. At the back here we've got Hungarian hot wax, habanero orange and an early jalapeno. Been doing quite well. I'm going to spin them around so they're getting a sort of even light distribution. Hoping that we can get a good germination rate across all of these, and I can stop the heat. Get quite a bit of radiant heat from this radiator here, but those seeds are coming up great. I'm quite surprised how well they are. I want to try and get the heat off as soon as they've come up so they don't get too leggy. But some of these California Wonder ones here are the first ones that came up, so they are quite leggy. I'm trying to see if we can get those potted on and buried a bit deeper. If not, and there's some later ones which are a bit more stocky, then I'll go with those and the first ones can get binned off. But hopefully we've got a few little ones maybe coming through in the chilies. There's one there and another one there. Looking good. Outside we have a bit of a varied bunch. I did sow some pak choi here. There's a few left here. I transplanted these out into the polytunnel on the allotment, but we've got some turnips at the back there, which I'm probably going to pot on, see if I can keep those going. And over here the spring onions are a bit of a failure at the front, but the collies have done quite well at the back. There's some strong ones there which have overwintered not too bad, so I'll get those planted on. And over here really the only ones that have done anything are this cabbage here, Elisa, an F1 variety, and the Calabrese green sprouting and De Chico. Brussels sprouts, nothing doing at all. One tiny little one from Cabbage Brunswick, and a couple of greyhounds might pot on if the weather starts getting a bit warmer. So that's the brassicas. Underneath those I've got loads of field beans which I potted thinking that the ones at the allotment weren't going to come up, So what I'm going to do with these is, once they've come up properly, I'm going to get these transplanted into some gaps at the allotment, and we can see if they'll take and carry on. Then next to those, bit of a experiment. This was a really nice shallot we got over Christmas, which we made some recipes with, some stuffing and some you know, sauces. It's a long shallot, but I've decided to see if I could get these to take, and planted these just in some potting compost. And if you just have a look underneath, you'll see that the roots have actually started to take. And these ones, where you can see the getting sort of a bit damp at the top, actually got really good roots on them. So I'm hoping that we can get, I really like this shallot variety, so I'm hoping if we can get those to take, we'll plant those at the allotment and they'll carry on. Other than that, at the top here we have some leeks, a variety called Neptune, and then inside we've got some onions which I sowed on Boxing Day, Ailsa Craig and the like, but nothing's doing in relation to them, I'm afraid. So see if there's one or two have popped up, but not very many have decided to come up. We've yet to see anything from the leeks, but that's the overwintered seedlings and some onions and a bit of a shallot experiment, which I'm really quite pleased with. Really surprised they've decided to take. Hopefully they'll obviously bunch up and we'll get more this year for harvest. Here in the cellar I've got the potatoes chitting. So in this one we have Home Guard, which is a first early. Some really good chits started on these. Really good. These are just in a cool middle cellar room. Keep the light on, which is just a fluorescent, you know, light tube. Just so they've got constant light and they don't get leggy. But they're really good. Then here we have Vivaldi, which I think is a second early, and they are coming along quite nicely too. A bit shorter than the other one, but still chitting. And then here I've got a couple of smaller groups. This one is British Queen. That's just doing quite nicely too. And then this one here is Maris Bard. Now these, I didn't think these were going to start to chit. They were just all green when they first came. They're just starting now. I'm doing quite well. That's a nice one. But they've completely gone green. Don't normally notice that on potatoes when I chip them. I mean, these here haven't, I mean, obviously they're a bit brown generally, but they don't look very green underneath. But yeah, they're really green. But we're now 13th January, so these will keep going for another good couple of months. I have taken a couple, as you've seen from the previous video, and planted those up at the allotment in the polytunnel. It's a bit of an experiment, but what I'm tempted to do is maybe do another couple of bags in the polytunnel, maybe towards the end of January. Maybe some of these ones here that are the biggest. These ones shouldn't go too leggy. Don't look too bad. But yeah, these ones I'm tempted to maybe put in a bag in the polytunnel, try and get a bit of successional sowing, because new potatoes are nice, but you tend to get them all in one flush if they're all planted at the same time. So if we can try and get these a bit earlier and get a bit of a succession going, then that might be quite nice. So try and think about a planting date for the rest of them properly. And I've got some reserved main crop from last year, very small ones. Not going to chit those, but they're in the fridge in the cellar, and we'll probably just plant those when it's time to put the main crop out and see if we can get a few main crop plants going. But that's the potatoes coming on very nicely. So I hope you've enjoyed looking at some of the things I've planted and sown in the propagator and outside, just to get an idea as to how you can extend your season and get things started in the new year. You might have some ideas or comments you might be able to share with me and anybody else watching the video in the comment section below, how you like to get your things started off for your vegetables. If you've liked today's video, I'd be grateful if you could give it a thumbs up, and also be really happy if you could subscribe so you can be notified of future videos and plot tours and other content that I post over the next few weeks. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon. Bye.